Okay, well, this is an edition of the Neishloss Podcast that all of you insurance agents, certainly specializing in the Medicare market, need to watch, need to soak in. This is very important for all of you involved in the space. And as I said, this is another edition of the Neishloss Podcast, of course, presented by Neishloss Fleming and Integrity Marketing Group. I'm your host, as always, Mike Asti. And for this show, it's going to be a little different than the shows we're used to putting up there. But for this show, we are going to offer some information, offer some advice, offer an explanation about a tool that a lot of us bring up constantly to some agents that we work with. But if you don't know, now you will know after watching this show, hopefully, about something called Snoozzy. And you may wonder what I mean by something called Snoozzy. Well, we're going to let you know throughout this show. A digital marketing tool for you, a digital marketing service, actually, that is run by the president and founder, Ken French. A lot of our agents work with him. If you're not already working with him, if you're not already working with us, this is just another reason to do so, and certainly can help your business, especially during these times, and especially on the digital marketing end, whether it be on social media or helping with a website. So without any other further ado, I do want to let you know, bottom of this video, click that subscribe button. It'll help us get all of our content to you. It is free to do so. So go ahead and click that subscribe button and be notified whenever any podcast premieres, any other show gets uploaded or premieres on our channel. And also make sure you hit up our website at nandfinc.com. And I will now bring on Mr. Ken French, who is the president and founder of Snoozzy, the digital marketing program and service that we are going to discuss here on this show. Ken, I definitely appreciate you taking the time here. I won't hold it against you with all the New York sports love there behind you, as we talked about that off the air, but I definitely appreciate you taking the time, man.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah, and I will also, again, Ken and I have emailed, conversed, we've talked on the phone before, talking about different agents and how to help them. This is our first even virtual meeting, so I'm glad to be able to meet Ken in this format as well. And Ken, I think this is a little bit of the elephant in the room. This might be something that people are wondering immediately when they're watching this show, might be wondering in general, and I know sometimes I'm even asked to kind of explain this too when I'm talking to an agent that may want to work with you. Just to get this out of the way, here is the question that everybody kind of wants answered. What made you call a digital marketing company, a digital marketing service that you are running there, Snoozzy? What made you think of Snoozzy to be a proper fit for this?
Yeah, well, there's a little bit of a relevant back-end story,
okay.
Mike. I mean, basically, I grew up in the insurance business back kind of in the late 90s and early 2000s. And we used to have a family-owned business that was very much like Neishloss Fleming.
Okay.
Our clients were independent brokers who sold employee benefits, life insurance, Medicare, health insurance. And back then, I was kind of a young guy. So they made me the tech guy.
Okay.
And next thing you know, I started to help some of our brokers build their first websites and figure out agency management systems and all that kind of stuff. And what I started to learn right off the bat is I didn't know what I was talking about. So I started to hire some programmers and some really smart people to kind of surround myself with. And next thing you know, I had a department within the company that's what we did. And as the years started to tick by, what started to happen is obviously healthcare reform started to come on the horizon. And, everyone knows that was a really uncertain time for both agents and for marketing organizations.
Sure.
So long story short, my father and uncle had started this business back in the 70s, and they had gotten older, and they basically told me, look, if healthcare reform really pushes forward, we're selling this business and we're retiring. We're out of here. So what I did is I had a few meetings with my department of tech people and said, look, we can go to the company that buys us, and that's a gamble. Or maybe we start our own company and just keep doing what we're doing. We've already been working with agents with technology and websites for about 10 years. We have a ton of knowledge. We can start our own company. So that, obviously that's where Snoozzy came into play. And I think really the long and short of it is we didn't want to come up with a name that would typecast us. I think we always knew that we would keep the focus in the insurance industry.
Okay.
But in the back of my mind, I just wasn't 100% sure. I didn't know if maybe we'll expand it to different professionals or who knows what.
Okay.
So I just sat there and I said, look, I'm going to come up with a name that, number one, make a good email address that I can say to people and they're not going to spell it wrong. And number two, something that people remember. And I just remember sitting there going, what goes good with 2 O's and 2 Z's? That's easy to say. And I said, let's. And
okay.
yeah, a lot of people think we make dog beds. I think there's a Snoozzy dog bed company.
Actually, my producer and I were talking before the show about we believe there's a company there that maybe would be confusing.
At the end of the day, I do focus specifically in the insurance industry. I think having the Snoozzy name has allowed me over the years to expand from just websites to social media help to coaching to all these things. And I think if initially I had just been like insurancewebsiteguys.com,
sure,
that could potentially been limiting. And not to get off topic, but this is a common question I get with a lot of agents kind of starting out. What do I call my company? Do I go by Bob Smith? Do I go by Bob Smith Insurance? Do I go by Western PA Medicare? And the only advice I give is try to pick something that you can grow with. And you don't ever want it to hold you hostage down the road.
Okay. It was a question, honestly, on my mind that I had been wondering for a while. I know Bill Correa was wondering. We got people very curious of that answer. So glad to clear that up. It definitely makes sense. Provide some background to the company, background to your journey. And yeah, that's smart just in terms of running any business to be able to not typecast yourself. And I think you already proved to be a smart man prior to even getting the business off the ground when you said, I don't know much about this facet, so I'm going to hire people to help me. That's the smartest men in the world. Got to go in that direction. We all got to do that at some point. And SNOOZZY for Snoozzy. So yeah, that's perfect. We finally got that answer again. Speaking with Ken French, the president and founder of Snoozzy. And no, we are not talking about dog beds on this show, although that would be a fun program as well. I had a dog growing up. I wish I got another dog. It will happen sometime soon, and maybe I'll hit up that Snoozzy company. But until that time, we are going to be discussing Snoozzy here, the digital marketing service that can help you, the insurance agent, the Medicare agent, in terms of digital marketing, website, social media, all very important these days. Again, Ken French, the president and founder of Snoozzy. So, Ken, that then makes sense to discuss this. We now know why the company is called Snoozzy, and I've already touched on a little bit on what it does, and just in general and kind of the point of it. But even though we're well aware of Snoozzy, and we can spell it, and we know now why it's called Snoozzy and kind of what it does, how would you describe Snoozzy to somebody who isn't familiar with your company at all? They may or may not be in the insurance industry, they may or may not be involved with Medicare, but somebody who's even selling especially, who has no idea what Snoozzy is, has never heard of Snoozzy before, is completely wondering and completely in the dark about Snoozzy, how would you best describe Snoozzy?
I think we're just kind of, in a web presence design company. People always come to me and say, like, what can you do for me per se? And the first thing I tell them is I go, look, this is kind of a partnership. What I'm expecting from you is to come to us, to tell us your style, what your product focus is, how you do customer service, how you're getting new clients. I expect that you have answers to those kind of situations. Then it's my job to kind of absorb that and figure out, okay, how do I build this agent or agency, a website that kind of fits their style and tells their story. And most importantly is functional so that the agent can use the site on a daily basis. Overall, I think that's kind of what we do. We're looking for producers who say, look, I get it. It's 2021. Mm-hmm. I now know I need to have a website. I probably need to have a social media presence. I'm good at selling. I'm good at understanding Medicare and Medicare compliance, but I don't know how to turn that into a virtual version of me. And I think that's the best way to think about what we do is we specialize in working with Medicare and all types of insurance agents. And we're good at listening to you and understanding what your comfort level is with technology. And then basically we do all the heavy lifting. We build the site, we write all the content, we come up with all the pictures, we'll talk to you and try to figure out what types of things you should build into your site.
Mm-hmm.
There's some people who desperately need the Medicare Center in their site that you guys offer.
Right.
And there's others that they don't want that to be up front. They want to talk to the consumer all the time first.
Mm-hmm.
Like I said, everyone's got their own system and style. That's great. We're not here to change that. We're here to, I guess, get you in the virtual game real quick and real affordable. And the same can be said with social media. It's a lot of people, it could be their first impression of you and your operation. We want to make sure you're set up, you're compliant, and that you're active and looking good. And I guess that's the best way to think about what we do. You come to us, we try to be straight shooters, be pretty blunt, try to figure out how to make this work for you, and then do it quickly and affordably.
And it's a program that can also take the time away from the agent, so it can be an agent that understands the importance of social media, of digital marketing, and having a website, maybe doesn't have the time for it, but has that mindset. That can be a perfect fit as well. And as you put it, an agent who has some idea of their business and is kind of ready for that finishing touch probably is your ideal candidate and client to be working with. And you can maintain and post for them. And I think you touched on one thing that's key. When you're involved in the digital space, especially on social media, being active is key. Having a profile, perception is reality, so having a profile that makes you look the best, that's important, that's front-facing. But if you don't post anything, if you just have dead air there for months on end, people are going to unfollow, people are going to unlike, they're not going to go there any longer, they're going to think you're not active, and it's going to lose traction. It's not going to do what you want it to do. So Ken certainly can help you in that regard. Ken French, the president and founder of Snoozzy, digital marketing company that we work with here at Neishloss and Fleming. And as Ken also said, and he alluded to this, Medicare Center, a big part of our business as well, a big tool that we offer as well by being a part of Integrity, an online enrollment platform. You can do tons there. That can be linked there. If you're a baseball fan, you can have, some baseball vibe there as well. Ken can kind of specialize things for you. And I always do tell agents that talk to me about wanting to do digital marketing, and I tell them about Ken and I tell them about Snoozzy. Ken can kind of guide it the way you want. It can be a conversation you guys have, but of course you want to have some idea and you want to have your business mindset first before that conversation. So that's a great description there. I think that does kind of clear things up. Ken, I do want to ask you this though. We agree that digital marketing is important, and more people than before maybe agree now. It certainly is more important than ever before because of the pandemic and because of the current climate. And digital marketing became kind of pushed to the forefront and even more important because of what's happened, but it was the present and important anyway. So it kind of just expedited that process and helped convince some others that were hesitant. But if an agent is saying, I get all of that, I understand it better now, but I'm not sure I need to go in that direction, I'm making money on my own, or whatever the case may be, I know Ken can do the work for me, I trust Ken, but I'm not familiar enough and I want to have some control on my own. Any of that. What are agents missing out on if they are not active in the digital space? If they are not on social media in any way, or not active, not posting, if they don't have a website, if somebody asks for a link, if they can't provide it, if all that's dormant, what are they missing out on right now especially?
Yeah, I think there's a lot of different ways to look at it. First off, I always have considered myself an entrepreneur. And, if you're
I would say you are.
Right now,
I agree.
but I look at all the independent agents out there too as entrepreneurs.
Right.
This is your own business.
Absolutely.
At the end of the day, you're accountable for the decisions you make, right? So if you're an agent right now that says, look, I don't have a web presence, never have had one, don't touch social media, I'm doing fantastic, I don't need one. My suggestion is more power to you.
Right.
Keep cranking along. But on the flip side, I'm an analytics guy. And I think that if you really did a huge research project and said, look, if you take 100 people and they're referred to you, so let's say you got Jack, and Jack is turning 65 next year, or in a few months. And Jack goes to the barbecue, right? It's getting warmer. Jack goes to the barbecue and he goes, gosh, I've got 75 phone calls in the last week from the insurance carriers and 200 things in my mailbox. Who do I talk to about turning 65 that can make it easy? And his buddy goes, oh, you got to talk to Bob Smith. He's the Medicare guy. Jack goes, okay, well, Bob Smith. He goes home and he Googles Bob Smith. He doesn't find anything about Bob Smith.
Nothing at all, yeah.
So I guess it goes back to my...
And loses the business card maybe that someone passes him. Loses the business card, can't find him. Now I don't know how to further contact Bob Smith. Right.
So I think the best way to think about it is in 2021, how many guys out there are like Jack, who are going to do like a background check on you? Is it 100 out of 100? Of course not. But maybe 10 years ago, it was 40 out of 100. In my opinion, we're at 80 out of 100, yeah. Where people, they want to feel comfortable with the person they're going to work with. It doesn't mean that they're going to go buy from you online. They might still have a very personal relationship with you, but they want that, what I call first impression, to feel good and to feel professional. And, I think one of the things that a lot of us forget in the insurance industry is there's a lot of producers out there. And if you take 10 producers, 8 of them are probably really good and professional. But there's always those 2 that kind of blow it for everyone. And you just never know if a guy like Jack had a bad experience with one of those 20% of the bad brokers. Mm-hmm. And now as he's turning 65 and he wants to move forward, he wants to move forward with the best of the best. Someone who's an expert, someone who focuses on his turning 65 situation. Well, maybe he goes and finds your website and you say, hey, we specialize in helping you if you turn 65. Here are 5 testimonials from other people we've helped who also turned 65. It makes Jack a lot more comfortable to call you. And, I'm just one of these guys that I believe that it's about big numbers. We're not trying to help one person this year. Hopefully we're trying to help 100 people this year. Mm-hmm. And if you can get the analytics on your side, you just greatly increase the percentages that you're going to get more referrals, you're going to get more, people who are interested in what you specialize in. So I look at the web presence as a foundation for that. Obviously most of us don't have offices anymore. We're all kind of virtual. We're all over the place. It's not like the old days where people could just walk down Main Street and pop in.
No,
I'm sure there's, yeah.
Yeah, it's not like that at all. No, absolutely. I think that having an online presence, and not only will a client maybe want to look you up more than ever before and maybe come at it with more knowledge than ever before, but having testimonials that kind of back up what you're saying, that's important. And really having that front-facing look that is professional, that shows that you're active. And honestly, there are people that when they're looking for their Medicare plan, they may immediately jump online and they may look into Facebook groups and different social media and see who's talking about what. If a agent is not the most professional in the world, there might be negative conversation in some of those groups that's going to obviously make that person not be more attractive for others to purchase from that person. Word of mouth is a big deal in terms of clients in the Medicare space, and that continues on social media. And I also think now, where the clientele may not be on every single social media platform under the sun, like maybe younger generations, this is now a clientele, this baby boomer 65, like people that are turning 65 soon, are 65, or above. A lot of them, more than ever before, are on Facebook or on some social media platform. So they're going to be there looking for you. And they may go to groups, they may go to websites, they may do a Google search and say, whose website is there? I'm looking for a Medicare agent. And if somebody's active on social or active on a website, they're going to pop up right in an area, or whatever your search may be. The more active you are, the better you are with the Google Analytics that Ken brings up. And if you're not, then it's going to be incredible if you can pop up there, regardless of how successful you are when you're calling somebody on the phone. So you're missing out on people. You're missing out on quote unquote leads, really, that may exist. And again, Ken's service can kind of take that workload away. So if the only reason you're scared to be involved is because I don't have any time, working with Ken, working with Snoozzy certainly could provide you that outlet to be involved, to have that digital footprint without having to do tons more work, as long as you have that mindset and have the right idea. Speaking with Ken French here, the president and founder of Snoozzy, as we got the name, we got why it was called Snoozzy. We're talking a little bit about Snoozzy, what it does, what you're missing out on if you're not involved, and of course digital marketing, social media presence, having a website, links can be there, testimonials can be there, they can guide the ship for you. That's all very important. Now, Ken, you mentioned you're an analytical guy, and I actually didn't even know that when I thought of this one question, but you also mentioned testimonials. I think this could be important in terms of proof to people too, proof of concept. Again, we agree it's pretty clear in this day and age you got to have a digital presence. It's helped me in my career here and even in a career outside of here. But for anybody who's still maybe needing convinced, do you have any data that shows the growth of an agent's business, or a particular example or testimonial even that you could give of your business and of your work and how this helped an agent who was ready to go to that next level from before working with Snoozzy to now where they are today?
Yeah, I mean, I definitely have some numbers I'll go through in a second here. I mean, the one thing I always tell people when they call me up and they're interested is I go, look, I don't have a magical rainbow here that you're going to all of a sudden get a million leads and you can just go to sleep tonight and watch the phone start ringing.
Of course.
I always kind of say, like, I'm going to try to build you a hammer. It's a tool. And I'm expecting that you're going to pick up that hammer every day and do things and build things with it. And then if you need to fine tune that hammer, you call up old Ken and he'll help you figure it out on how to make it better. And I think that's the best way to think about a web presence today. Because to be honest, as we push forward through 2021, it's something like 90% of all independent agents have websites. So to think that someone's going to go on to Google and type in Pennsylvania Medicare and you're going to come up first, that's crazy.
Right.
That's not an entrepreneurial game plan that's going to work. So it comes down to, how do I have a website that, number one, it saves me time, makes me more efficient, obviously makes me look credible, and kind of becomes the foundation of my back office. I mean, I had a guy the other day where he said, look, during open enrollment, I had a real tough time because I tried to get 400 of my clients' updated contact information. And I spent a lot of money sending out stuff in the mail, and I was hoping they would fill out these forms with all their updated info and then mail it back. Mm-hmm. And some people did, and some people I couldn't read their handwriting, and it was just a disaster. And I said to him, look, why don't we just build a page, a form on your site where instead of sending all that out, you can just have them go to your website to the client update form, have them update all their info. It'll send the data right into your CRM, and it'll save you hours.
Yeah.
And the light bulb went off. He's like, wow, that's amazing. And I said, look, he goes, how much is that going to cost? It's not going to cost anything. It's just part of the monthly $60 that you pay. So I think the first thing, before I get into some testimonials, I always kind of say, like, look, I'm not sure what you're really concerned about because we're not charging you thousands of dollars here. At the end of the day, our website ends up costing around $700 a year. What is that, 2 new clients? I mean, it's pennies. It's pennies on the dollar.
That's one sale with certain carriers. Yeah.
Yeah, it to me, it's, like I said, I think it's a cost of doing business. Now, once you get to the point where you say, look, I get it, it's a cost of doing business, then it's about how do we make this work for you so that, you're not just breaking even, but it becomes a foundational part of growing your book. And I think that's what we're best at is, like I said, understanding your situation and trying to come up with ideas like having a client, intake form or whatever on the site to really help you in your day to day. But going back to your original question, basically my first year of business, my first full year was 2010. And in 2010, I did about 100 websites. Now, some of those websites were my brokers that I had known for 10 years. They had known my father for 30 years, whatever. These wasn't really a hard sale per se. But I obviously I thought about this question and, I looked back at some of the statistics, and long story short, of those 100 brokers from 2010, 85 are still my clients. 10 of them retired.
Wow. There you go.
So,
yeah,
5 of them left for whatever reason. Right. But I think at the end of the day, that's what I always tell people. I go, look, I don't charge you anything up front to build this site. It's a month-by-month contract. I'm sure that sounds very risk-free. But on the flip side, I don't do this for fun. I do this for a business. And gosh, I hope I work with you for 10 years. And, like I said before, I don't have any magical powers here, but I am a very blunt, straightforward person who's going to tell you, look, I've seen this work before. I've seen this fail before. I've seen people get fined for doing this because they violated compliance. We try to be very straightforward. And in the end, we're trying to build a relationship business here with our clients. Even though I don't get to go out and play golf with you and shake your hand every day, it's still that same relationship where you can call us. You're going to talk to me. You're going to talk to my staff. We're here. We pick up the phone. And I think that's allowed me over the years to build relationships with people and to really help them develop their websites. Now, those people from 2010, their website doesn't look anything like it did in 2010 because over the years,
right.
We evolve the technology, we upgrade the technology, we make sure it works on the new smartphones when the new smartphones come out. These are all things that most insurance brokers don't want to know anything about, nor do I blame you. I mean, that's what keeps me up at night. But that's a big part of what we try to bring to the table is letting you focus on running your business and then always having someone to call to say, hey, look, Neishloss and Fleming came out with this new tool. How do I incorporate it into my web presence to make it work for me? And I can tell them straight up, you do this, or you know what, this isn't for you. You don't need this in your site. Keep it for later, but right now it doesn't fit your style. That's the kind of thing we try to bring to the table.
I always appreciate the direct approach, for sure. Ken France, the president and founder of Snoozzy, and that's a big thing to bring up as well. When you have clients that have been with you for so long, that's a very high percentage of turnover to keep clients with you for that long, or low percentage of turnover, but a high percentage of keeping clients with you for that long. And then also, technology today and technology 10 years ago, light years away from each other. So keeping up to date, having it look fresh, having it look professional, all of that, that would be a headache for you. We totally get that, so that's what Ken can certainly provide. And I don't think that your fee per month, it is a business that you're running. It is not free. A lot of our services are for clients and for agents that just work with us by having us as their upline. Snoozzy, there is a fee there per month, but it's not anywhere near that much. It's very, very low comparison to what you're getting out of Ken and even what it would be the entire year. And there really are certain carriers, certain major carriers that 1 or 2 sales, you're making it up. And you really don't know what you're missing out on unless you're not involved in the digital space. You'll never really know. There are going to be people you're missing out on. You'll never know for sure. And I think saying it's a relationship business for you is perfect because we feel our business is relationship building. I know Integrity Marketing Group, our partner, feels like it's a relationship business. And really, any business intertwined with the insurance industry, Medicare especially, is a relationship business in some respect. So that's important as well. Ken, we're going to get you out of here with this. And again, I definitely appreciate your time. I know you've talked to others. I know you talked to a bunch of agents. You had your business going for a long time. I certainly know that you've talked with others at other FMOs. I will say we definitely appreciate the relationship that we have with you and what you can provide and assist us, so we don't necessarily have to worry about diving in exactly to help every one of these agents with every different integral tool of their website. Having someone like you and a partner with us is certainly a big deal and a major asset for us. And we do offer, of course, Ken running Snoozzy as a help. We certainly have Medicare Center as an online enrollment platform where you can look up doctors, prescription drugs. You can enroll right there. We have a bonus program called Greenhouse. We have any of us here on our team to provide service and assist and provide education and contracting whenever need be, figure out which makes sense for you. We have a lot. We have a social media presence of our own, of course. These podcasts, our YouTube channel, you can get all the information about what's going on with different carriers, different markets in the country, and just involved with the Medicare market as well. And Ken, I know we appreciate our relationship with you, but any thoughts on us here in general at Neishloss and Fleming, maybe just on your travels, even doing this podcast or anything about us here at Neishloss?
Yeah, I talk obviously with a lot of producers across the country
right.
who don't use Neishloss. And, I think the way I look at it is the industry has become quite overwhelming. And to be successful, there's a lot of pieces you need in your puzzle to kind of put it all together. And to be honest, nobody has all the pieces. I don't have them all. You don't have them
right.
all. But I think at the end of the day, compared to what else is out there from kind of an upline help, I think Neishloss and just Integrity in general have a tremendous amount of tools for agents to kind of, really build a pretty good puzzle and then, plug in a few holes are there. And next thing you know, you got the whole piece, the whole thing's put together. Mm-hmm. And, whether, like you said, it's your technology you have or your training or the customer service, I think that, I wouldn't overlook that if I was a producer. Sometimes we think the grass is greener, but it very well, in my opinion, probably isn't.
Yeah.
And,
No, and we appreciate you saying that for sure. I can certainly say it all day, but it definitely maybe rings, truer when a partner of ours, someone like yourself, is saying it when you're dealing with so many others. So I definitely do think we're a cut above the rest in many of those respects. But for you, the agent, to be a cut above the rest, you got to be involved in the digital space. You got to have a digital footprint, and a program, a service like Snoozzy can certainly help you get there. So Ken, I definitely appreciate the time for sure. I know we're going to be talking soon, I'm sure, maybe one day, whenever I'm up in your area, we actually will shake hands and be out there on the golf course one day. That would, I'm sure, be fun, but I definitely appreciate the time, and we'll definitely be in touch, to say the very least.
Okay, I appreciate the opportunity. Thanks.
Absolutely.
Thanks,
that was Ken French, the president and founder of Snoozzy. Again, the digital marketing service that we offer to all of our agents here, and we partner with Ken to help all our agents here at Neishloss Fleming. I want to remind you, hit that subscribe button here, bottom of this video. It'll help us get all of our content to you. It is free to hit that button and subscribe to our YouTube channel. Also find us all throughout social media, and of course now we are on Instagram at Neishloss_Fleming. Our website, NANDFINC.com. For all of us here at Neishloss Fleming, and of course Integrity Marketing Group for Ken over there with Snoozzy, I'm Mike Asti. Until we meet again.